Yes, you can.
The end.
Okay, yes, it's a little bit more complicated than that. So if you want to avoid getting fined or simply losing your drone, just keep on watching. I'm about to tell you everything I know about it.
So, can you fly a drone in Vietnam? In my opinion, yes, and pretty easily. I've been flying my drones here for the last 2 years, and to be honest, I rarely had any problems with it. Yes, there are some restrictions, and we'll talk about them in a bit, but on the whole, as of this date, and right now it's February 2024, flying a drone in Vietnam is fairly safe and easy. But there are some things that you need to be aware of.
So the first place where you definitely shouldn't fly a drone is near the airports.
Well, your drone app most likely won't even let you take off near them. So before planning your drone photo video shoot, I'd highly recommend checking the drone app and surveying the area for restricted zones. I've had a few occasions when I was planning to film a cityscape, like in Da Nang, and then I realized that it's impossible because there's an airport right in the middle of the city. I still managed to film some of it, but I had to get further away and couldn't capture any of those beautiful bridges in Da Nang because they're too close to the airport. So please watch out for those.
Next is government buildings. Vietnamese authorities are quite sensitive about them, especially when it comes to the buildings in the capital city, Hanoi.
You can't fly a drone over the city center. If you check on the flying app, there's a big large circle indicating a no-fly zone, and I wouldn't mess with it. One of my friends told me that if your drone enters that area, you will simply lose control of it, because the Vietnamese government has installed some radio interceptors from the actual drone company DJI to prevent people from flying over that restricted area. I don't know how true that is, but I was never tempted to test that, and I wouldn't recommend that to you either.
Next is military bases. They're more subtle, they're usually not marked on the maps, but if you accidentally fly in, your reception can disappear. Or you do fly in and you can get in a huge trouble, and you really don't want to mess with military people.
The military bases are usually outside of the common tourist routes, so they shouldn't pose too much trouble. But it is always good to check the maps for some suspicious places that look like something related to army. For example, I once was traveling across central Vietnam. I found a lovely spot to fly my drone near the town of Cam Ranh. And while I was checking the map, I noticed a few suspicious objects that looked exactly like military submarines, parked right in the middle of that beautiful bay. And yes, that was a Navy base. You can't access it, and I didn't want to test my luck over there. Obviously, I had to forget about any attempts to fly over it and film it. I could easily get deported and sent to prison for this.
Another place where people usually wouldn't be happy to see you is temples.
In most cases, people wouldn't really care much, and you would basically be able to do whatever you like as long as you don't annoy people around you. However, I've been to some places where locals were not very pleased to see me, like in this old Burmese temple where I was told to leave immediately. I wasn't even standing on the temple grounds. I found a nice spot at the parking lot near it, but I guess that was annoying enough for them, so I was asked to leave. I'd say with the temples you need to be respectful and pay attention to people's reactions. If people are getting annoyed with all the buzzing, then it is probably better to try your luck somewhere else.
One thing that surprised me was a no-fly zone around Vin-complexes, such as Banner Hills, Fancy Pan, and in general all Vin Pearl amusement parks.
They usually don't tell you that flying a drone there is forbidden, but as soon as you take out your drone, you'll be surrounded by security yelling, "No fly cam, no fly cam." It's useless to try to reason with them. They don't seem to be very strict though. For instance, when I was on Fancy Pan, they told me I couldn't fly my drone at the top of the mountain, but I just walked down away from the crowd and launched my drone quickly, and no one seemed to care about that. A drone makes a lot of noise when it's close by, but once you fly it at least 40-50 meters away, it becomes almost invisible and silent. Just be careful and don't bother anyone.
Another thing to remember is that Vietnam has all these multiple mountains and hills and can be really tempted to fly over them, but you need to remember that it is a very easy way to lose your drone.
There is a simple trick to avoid this. Drones are very smart nowadays and they can return to their home point on their own if they lose signal. But if they're near the mountains, they might hit a wall on the way back. So just make sure you set the return home altitude higher than any other obstacle around you. If you do that, you should be able to get your drone back safely.
The final and probably most crucial point is just common sense. Before flying your drone, you need to ask yourself whether it is safe to fly here, will it annoy anybody around you, will you be able to safely operate your drone, will you be able to lift off and land, is there a chance that you can accidentally hurt somebody around you? If you are in doubt, just probably move your drone video shoot somewhere else, another day, another time. Just make sure you don't hurt anybody and don't do anything foolish.
But okay, this is my personal perspective. Now, what does the Vietnamese law say about flying a drone? I did some research on the internet and the legal situation seems to be quite confusing. Most of the rules are common sense and they match with the tips I gave you earlier, such as not flying over military or government buildings, not annoying or endangering people, and not flying over large crowds. But I also found some articles that said you need to get permission from the Ministry of Defense and pay between $350 and $700 for a day of flight. I'm not sure whether this is an official law or not, and to be honest, it sounded a little bit strange for me, as I have never seen anyone paying that amount of money for a single flight here. I've also read posts that said some airports would confiscate drones on site, but I have never experienced that in my 2 years of traveling with my drone here. I think these rules might apply to bigger commercial videography, like if a company is making a film and they need to fly a drone legally to shoot a scene, or if they really need to fly over a restricted area like the city center of Hanoi. In that case, yes, I guess the only way to do that would be to get the official permission. But if you're just a tourist and want to fly your drone for fun, you're not really expected to pay that fee. But you also need to remember that there might be questions whether this is legal or not. The way I understand it is if someone tells me to stop flying my drone, I don't argue, I just land my drone and leave the area to avoid any trouble. Also, I wouldn't launch my drone in front of the police or in a very public place.
I would say just be careful and avoid confrontation. You don't want to deal with the police because most probably they'll just come in and confiscate your drone and you won't be able to do anything against that.
These are the main tips of flying a drone in Vietnam. Usually you won't have any issues with that. Vietnam is a great place to fly a drone with stunning scenery and beautiful cities, but be careful and sensible. Don't do anything foolish or rude. We don't want the authorities to ban drone flying in this country, which could easily happen because of some serious accident.
And this will be the end of this video. I hope you found it useful and helpful. This is my personal experience and knowledge. I'm not working for the Vietnamese government, so if you're looking for proper legal advice, it is better if you ask the Vietnamese authorities. But I talked about my personal experience and knowledge, so I thought it would be helpful to share. And then you could start from that, and if you are really concerned, you could do your own research, talk to more people, and decide whether it's a good idea or not to fly a drone here. My experience here generally has been quite positive, but again, things happen to people and you have to be careful. So yes, thanks a lot for watching. As usual, please like, subscribe, tell me what you think about this video. Did you like it? What is your experience of flying a drone here? Maybe you've heard other stories, maybe you've had some experience. Please do share, I'd love to hear. Well, for now, this will do. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye and see you soon.